This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast, where business leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 7 minutes because successful business leaders are busy and rarely have more time to spare. So let's get to it. Question number one: in a few sentences, please tell me who you are and what you do.
My name is Matt Heinz, founder and president of Heinz Marketing. We are a B2B consulting firm. We help companies build more predictable sales pipelines for those that feel like they have lumpiness in the pipelines they're created or inconsistency of the results they're getting from their sales and marketing efforts. We can create more predictability.
Matt, it's great to have you on the show, and I've learned a new term: lumpiness in the sales funnel. Great term. Question number two: what's the best thing about working in your industry?
I mean, we what we do is very measurable. It's not fluffy arts and crafts marketing. We are a bunch of math marketers that think in terms of how much demand to generate how many opportunities to generate how much business. And results vary. I mean, it's not paint by numbers by any means, but you can see whether something's working or not. You can see the impact of what you're doing. You can see the before and after of where a company may have had sort of random acts of marketing to now being able to sort of have better visibility and better confidence in what they're going to do moving forward. We work a lot of like growth oriented, up and coming businesses, and to see the impact that has on their trajectory, on their valuation is really, really exciting.
That's really great. I love it. Question number three: I have a fictitious book with all the answers for business. What chapter would you think most companies should read?
There's a chapter in the middle of that book that's really important to me, and I can't remember what the number of the chapter is, but it's all about customer empathy. It's all about understanding who your customers are and what problems they have. It's not about what you're trying to sell them. It's about being expert in their problems. It's not about asking them what keeps them up at night. It's about telling them what should keep them up at night. So
Hmm.
the better you understand those customers, the better you understand their problems, the better you can exercise empathy, the more credibility you have, the more trust you build. And that is something that is going to support you to build loyalty throughout the customer life cycle.
And it's interesting because as you describe it, it sounds like you become much more of a value add to the customer as opposed to trying to just sell them.
Absolutely. And I think, if you understand the problem you're solving and understand the problem your customer has around that, it's going to make it much more of a win-win. And I think you're going to be able to you're going to go from being interruptive to being irresistible in your sales and marketing efforts. You're going to have customers that want to spend more time.
Love it. Question number four: other than the generic work harder, have a great attitude, and care for customers, what advice or insight would you give to other business leaders?
Be curious and humble. Continue to learn. Dedicate time every day to like reading, watching videos, listening to podcasts. Never assume you know everything, especially since the world changes so often and so rapidly. Also, like just exercise humility. Like we all have been that intern. We all have been that junior employee new in their career. We've all been that person that was scared to go ask their president or go ask their leader a question, was afraid of sounding dumb. Like lean into that and give back and be that resource. It will come back to you in spades with the loyalty and productivity you will have from a workforce that understands that you're human, that you're accessible, and that you're someone that they want to go to bat with.
It's very powerful words. And I like how you said early on about being curious, because a lot of people say, oh, keep educating. But curious has a more fun openness to it. And I really like how you mentioned that, as well as, just being humble. It's very powerful words. Question number five: what other business leader like yourself would you like to acknowledge and invite to be on my podcast?
There's a gal, her name is Jill Sharensky. She runs a company called Denny Mountain Media. She has no idea that I'm doing this, but I have learned so much from her, the way that she runs her business, the way that she balances work and life and prioritizes herself and her fitness and her health. Um, she would also describe herself as somewhat of an accidental entrepreneur, but I think she's been highly successful at it. She's very humble as well. She's someone that's easy to talk to about the ups and downs of business. And she if she heard me saying this, I think her first reaction would be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have that much to share." And then you would watch her 7 minutes, and I guarantee it's going to be phenomenal. So no pressure, Jill. You're going to be great, but I would love to have Jill participate in this as well.
Perfect. I'll reach out to her. Thank you for that referral. And our final question, question number six: please tell me about your first job.
I was a courtesy clerk at a mom and pop grocery store where I grew up in the East Bay, Bay Area, Northern California. And what that meant was I restocked shelves, I bagged groceries, I took them out for people. I did all the cleanup at the end of the day, the mopping and all the the store cleanup. And it was just good old fashioned hard work. I got to know, I got to understand like different levels of sort of store management. First time I really had exposure into sort of union. It was a good job that really sort of helped me just reinforce and appreciate just hard work, just putting your head down and doing the work and serving other people. And I'll always have very fond memories of that job.
That's great, and it's interesting because I remember my first retail job, and I had a very similar experience. So it's something that we take with us, throughout our lives. Those lessons. So it's great. So Matt, thank you so much for being on the show. How can people find you?
You can find us online just at heinzmarketing.com, HEINZ marketing.com. We've got a ton of content up there, blog posts. You'll find our podcasts, research. It's all for free. At Heinz Marketing on Twitter, we're posting sales and marketing best practice articles. If you're curious and want to be curious about what's going on in B2B sales and marketing, most of the stuff we post is not ours there. It's other stuff we find. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And if you want to talk to me, I'm just Matt, MATT, at heinzmarketing.com.
Perfect. This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast. For more insights and ideas, please go to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or iTunes and search for the Winning at Business and Life podcast. Thanks for listening.